In December of 2018, with virtually no warning to the community or even professional teams, Blizzard announced that they were cancelling the official leagues for their MOBA, Heroes of the Storm. This included the collegiate circuit, Heroes of the Dorm, and their professional circuit, Heroes Global Championship. Although they promised to keep supporting the game, they were fairly clear that the quote, cadence will change with regard to new content and game updates, and that their focus would be shifting away from professional competition. After this announcement, most, including us, wrote off Heroes of the Storm as being marked for death. But as it turns out, you don't need developer support for your game to live on as an esport. In the end, as long as there are players who are dedicated enough, strange things can happen, and games that should have died find a way to live on in unexpected ways. This is Heroes of the Storm. If you want the full story about how Heroes of the Storm almost died, check out our video on the topic in the description below. If you haven't watched it, we're going to quickly outline what exactly happened. Heroes of the Storm officially released in 2015, and Blizzard put its full weight behind ensuring the game's success. They started up a collegiate league which offered full-ride scholarships, they secured media deals with ESPN that got HOTS on national television, and they launched the Heroes Global Championship in 2016, which brought some of the biggest esports organizations into the fold. Blizzard poured millions of dollars into creating a competitive environment that was among the best in the industry, but unfortunately, that success didn't last long. 2018 was by far the most successful year for the HGC, and players and fans alike were gearing up for another year of professional HOTS. Unfortunately, Blizzard Activision was going through a massive wave of layoffs, and those who were auditing the company decided that the Heroes Global Championship was not a sound investment. After months of waiting and wondering if the league was going to continue in 2019, Blizzard released a statement in December saying that the HGC would be ending. With one blog post, teams lost their investments, players lost their jobs, and everyone felt like Heroes of the Storm was about to collapse. But gamers, especially fans of Blizzard games, are not ones to let a game die so easily. Despite news outlets suggesting that the shift away from esports spelled certain doom, the developers were adamant that they wouldn't be abandoning HOTS just yet. In fact, now that the team didn't have to worry too much about making the game competitively viable, game designers like Adam Jackson have been focusing instead on, quote, making cool stuff. The new goal was to make the game as fun as possible for as many people as possible, and this design philosophy has kept Heroes of the Storm's player base fed and happy over the last 2 years. Take the introduction of the character Deathwing, for example. Far from your regular MOBA hero, Deathwing has global mobility, is immune to all crowd control, and deals huge amounts of damage. There are, of course, trade-offs, like being immune to his teammates' buffs and not being able to regenerate health normally, but his unique kit sets him apart from pretty much any character in any MOBA game on the market. And that seems to be the focus. Have fun with the game. Jack Delaney, writing for IGN, said it best when he wrote, quote, social media and the internet make it easy to be reactionary to news of any sort, particularly the negative kind. Heroes of the Storm is a reminder that things aren't always as bad as they seem. While the initial news was awful for esports professionals and fans, the effect on the core game was minimal. So now, instead of dedicating tons of resources to making sure that HOTS is balanced as an esport, the team is free to get more creative. In 2020, the team was adding updates and balancing the game around every 3 weeks. In 2019, the team added 4 new characters to the game, including the meta-bending Deathwing that we talked about earlier, and last year they added 2 new characters, Mei from Overwatch and Hogger from Warcraft, bringing the total character pool to an impressive 89 heroes. With so many characters from Blizzard's expanded universe, many of whom have been worked and reworked over the years so that they don't feel stale, HOTS offers a great deal of variety from one match to the next, so you're not just playing with the same 10 characters every single game. Apart from a vast pool of unique characters, Heroes of the Storm's base gameplay is also quite different when compared to the likes of League of Legends and Dota 2. Most notably, experience points are shared in a pool among the entire team rather than by individuals. This means that success or failure is based on a group's ability to work together, as no one character can hard carry like in some other titles. There are also multiple maps, each with their own objectives that can change the momentum of the game, and they've replaced the item shop with a new talent system. So while HOTS follows a similar outline to its contemporaries, it has done a lot to separate itself from the pack. But fresh new fundamentals aren't quite enough to make it big in the esports industry. And unfortunately, Blizzard's cutting off of esports didn't just affect the team working on the game, many of whom either moved to other departments at Blizzard or left the company altogether, but rather, the effects were most strongly felt by the professionals who had been dedicating pretty much all of their time to getting good at the game. In our last video, we talked to a number of professional and ex-professional players. Since then, many big names in the community have retired from HOTS to play other titles or have faded into obscurity. But there are some who have been able to find success. For example, Genji's Rich, who retired from Professional Heroes of the Storm, stayed with his organization and was able to transfer over to their League of Legends roster as a mid laner. Another pro we talked to, Harrison Chang, better known as Psalm, was an American player with Tempo Storm who retired in June of 2018 to go pro playing Fortnite. His most notable achievement was coming second at the 2019 World Cup. Unfortunately, this was kind of the norm after the cancellation of the HGC, where otherwise excellent players were left without a job and had to transfer their skills elsewhere. Very few pros from the HGC era stuck around after the league's cancellation. While Blizzard's new design philosophy has been a success in many ways, in multiplayer titles, there's always a yearning for something bigger. For MOBA games, that usually means high-stakes competition. But without Blizzard supporting the esports scene directly, it's fallen to the community to take a more grassroots approach to organizing tournaments. One of the first organizations to pick up the reins was Heroes Lounge, an amateur league for HOTS that runs in the United States and Europe. Heroes Lounge gives players an opportunity to compete as pre-existing teams or sign up as free agents to play with new friends in the Nexus. The league schedules events around the players, employing a team of casters who cover matches at pretty much any time of day. Heroes Lounge tried to break out of the amateur scene and produce a more professional product with Division S, a step up from what they'd been doing that sought to bring actual esports orgs into the fold. Unfortunately, that endeavor fizzled out after 2 seasons. Then, in mid-2020, the reins were picked up by Method, a World of Warcraft guild turned esports organization who hosted weekly tournaments for Heroes of the Storm. Raising pot money through crowdfunding, connecting players from around the world, these amateur events scratched the community's competitive itch, but at the same time, they didn't quite have the same scale that professional leagues do. But one new league, independent of Blizzard, has stepped up to the task of filling the void. Heroes Hearth and their parent company Wisdom Gaming Group have put together the Community Clash League, or CCL. Harkening back to the game's early days, the CCL is a grassroots league put together by the community for the community. The league's main focus? Sustainability. Compensating players and organizations, putting on events with supreme production value, and making sure that everyone is having a good time is what the CCL stands for. But the CCL wouldn't exist if everyone abandoned the game after Blizzard cut support. Some of the main movers behind the CCL are some of the biggest names from the HGC era. Ex-pros and casters alike have come together to put their years of experience into building a league that they hope will survive for years to come. Broken up into 12-week seasons, the league format hosts 8 teams who are sponsored by professional organizations. These organizations are given a few $1,000s to pay their players, and the CCL hosts a number of exhibition matches so that orgs can flesh out their rosters with free agents. Prize pools are primarily raised through Twitch bits, donations, and crowdfunding, with the focus being on bringing players and viewers back time and time again. The big thing that the CCL has done for Heroes of the Storm is bringing esports organizations back into the fold. Whether established teams like Simplicity or Oxygen, or HOT-specific orgs like 30K and Wildheart, the CCL offers teams and players job security and an opportunity to compete once again at the highest level. Players like Prismaticism, who have stuck around since the days of the HGC, are back to playing at the top level, and hopes are that the CCL will continue to grow and maybe even rival the professionalism of the old league. Currently, the parity of the league is in a very good place, ensuring that there are few blowouts and that no team is a clear favorite on any given day. Take, for example, one of the biggest stories to come out of the new era of Heroes of the Storm: Simplicity. The team, captained by HGC veteran Cure, was seeded 6th going into the playoffs of the CCL Season 1. With a new pickup in support player Legacy, the team managed to dislodge Crowd Control and Wildheart, who were seeded 1st and 2nd respectively, and secure a spot in winner's side of Grand Finals. It was through teamwork and adaptation that they managed to beat some of the best teams in Heroes of the Storm right now.
They're going to close things out in a 4-0 fashion. This is going to be Simplicity, your grand final winners of Season 1 of CCL. GG, well played.
The Heroes of the Storm community loves this title so much, and despite the odds, they have managed to build something entirely their own. Nowadays, it's so common to see huge tournaments with fancy production and multi-million-dollar sponsorship deals, but Heroes of the Storm is proof that esports, at its core, is about a love of the game. Whether you're a longtime fan, a casual player just getting into esports, or someone who is just hearing about the game for the first time, this is the perfect opportunity to get into Heroes of the Storm, and become a part of a community that has proven it can weather just about anything. This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thank you to everyone on this list, and shout out to Jason, Foxy, Lyra, Mauve, Nate, Nathan, Sierra, Shoopy, Shampoo, Weeboo, and Spartacus for being platinum supporters. And an extra special shout out to Mookie, Noodles, Marco, and Steven for being diamond supporters. Thanks for sticking with us. If you also want to support the channel and unlock perks, check out the Patreon link in the description below or join our Discord server. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Jonah. Thanks for watching.